Hello and welcome to episode 328 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian.
That's a lot of episodes.
That is a lot of episodes.
I'm James.
I mean, I would I would have thought by this point that I don't know, someone would have picked that I'd be reading like a Postmates ad or something. I'd be opening up shilling for stamps.com. That does not help. That has not happened yet.
Drink your AG1.
Yeah, AG1 exactly. I love my Helix mattress. Any number of things.
Today we're playing Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh my god! Oh, the dream to play Raid Shadow Legends. The dream. You play Raid Shadow Legends for free.
I did for like
you did for a while.
Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's more than most people. I think it's only people that they sponsor to play Raid Shadow Legends that play. So, anyway, we are taking a break from finishing off Final Fantasy, because they banned a format. Basically, we got to start over.
Cliff notes. They banned a format. Yeah, like that was my big question here. We'll get to it at the end. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but Wizards did their like annual ban announcement, or like pre-rotation ban announcement.
Pre-rotation, yeah, that's what they called it. Early rotation ban announcement.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. So this gives you time to throw us some green or multicolored cards for the Final Fantasy stuff. But if you want to reach out to us on social media, say hey. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because, I don't know, there might be like 2 weeks before the next set starts to get spoiled.
What are we going to do for 2 weeks?
I don't know. Yeah. Reach out on social media, Facebook, Discord, X, Blue Sky, email. All those links are in the description. Say hey, let us know what you want us to talk about. All that stuff. I should probably get myself like all the way on the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. There we go.
There you go. Much better.
It was only half me.
Yeah.
Half me.
Like Brian said, if you want to reach out and talk to us, links are down below. All the places you would normally expect to get a hold of somebody are there. If you want to support the show, there's 2 ways you can do it. The first is with our TCG player affiliate link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG. Buy your stuff, support the show at the same time. We would appreciate it. If you want to support the show a little bit more directly, Patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG is where you can do that. Chip a couple bucks in. Patrons will get access to my show notes, so you get a sneak peek about what the show is going to be about. And you also get roughly an hour of content out of us every week in the form of our unshow. We're old, sometimes our equipment's broke, sometimes our software is broke, sometimes we're broke. So we need to check all that stuff out before we start the show and catch up, because we don't see each other nearly as much anymore. So we record that. Like I said, we don't script it out. It's just kind of us catching up while we make sure all our settings are correct. We record it. I post it up for patrons. I don't edit it. Nothing. Just throw it up there raw. And our patrons seem to like it. So if you're interested in that, or if you just want to support the show, like I said, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of bands to talk about.
Yeah. A lot of them all at once. In basically just one format.
In the show notes is like, there's all these formats that no one plays. Should we talk about those bands? Nah. If you're like one of the 4 people that plays like Historic or Alchemy or Timeless or Best of One Pioneer, like not on a. I will play. I've been playing Best of One Pioneer because I like threw together a deck and I was just like, let me see if this is like remotely functional.
Yeah.
But I think I played like 6 games and I'm just like, sometimes it's functional.
Did it contain Tybalt's Trickery?
It did not.
Okay, well you're probably safe to play it then.
Yeah, at least for a little bit. Yeah. So I think the big thing is, the big thing is standard, and we can maybe touch on some no changes that angered people.
Well, I think we should talk about, if that's what we're going to do, we should talk about everything else first and then do standard last.
Okay. So, apparently, from the internet chatters, Boros Energy is still too good
Yeah.
in Modern,
What I have heard.
and people are like, can we get like something done about Boros Energy? And it's like, no, I don't know what I don't know what they said about Modern, but I don't remember. But it's like, no, we're kicking it. We like it. So what was our cliff notes for? I got to scroll through a lot here to get to Modern. Oh, so I guess Modern is the RCQ format.
Oh yeah, that's
So
right.
they didn't want to
They didn't want to
change it. And then uh uh so and they're like, yeah, like people thought Boros was gonna be good, and in some respects that was right. It's like, okay, cool. So I would not be surprised if at some point Boros gets something done to it.
Yeah.
It just seems, I don't know, it seems like if you put a precon in a Modern Horizons set, perhaps if you miss even at all.
Right.
This is, remember, like way back, gosh, it was like Shadows, where like the deck that won the like Shadows of Innistrad, the deck that won the Pro Tour was like the Zombies deck,
Yeah.
and it was just kind of like you
All
like,
the zombies smashed together.
yeah, like Jerry T made the finals or
Yeah.
something. And it was just, yeah, you just take all the cards that said zombie on them,
Yeah.
and you had a really good deck. It seems like they were like, just take all the cards that say energy on them,
Smash them together.
smash them together within reason, and you will have a good deck. And they're like, we're gonna ban some cards, and I was like, sweet, I'm still gonna have a good deck.
Yeah.
So people aren't happy about that. And then, so Bryant Cook will, the last two ban announcements, he has done this thing where he starts recording himself at 10:59.
Yeah.
And then he refreshes to like react like as soon as they come up to the ban announcement.
Yeah.
He was so mad he turned it off
Oh.
after like 3 minutes. He was just like, I think what he said was, I'm gonna go because I have nothing positive to say.
If your mom says don't say something nice, then don't say anything.
Yeah, exactly. So there are like two, at least Legacy, but there are like two problem decks in the format. So there's still like Blue Black Reanimator.
Yeah.
Which I find hilarious that we're old enough to remember when Reanimator was Blue Black.
You mean before it was Black Red?
Before it was Black Red,
Yeah.
because it was like because Blue Black was too slow.
Yeah.
So we had to be Black Red to be faster. And now we're back to Blue Black because it's slower. It has more interaction. But I think they were like, even in the announcement, like, we don't know if like Daze and Reanimate are the problem, or if it's just people like in like Blue Black Reanimator is like the best deck in the format, or if people just like to play the cards that they have.
Yeah.
And people like Daze and Reanimate. It's like, okay. On one hand, like, I don't know, there has to be a reanimation deck in the format, and like getting rid of Entomb kind of feels like getting rid of Brainstorm.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the problem is we've just, and this is something we'll talk about later, like getting rid of Entomb or Reanimate, probably Entomb, like, it's dying for the sins of like piles of like, 7 mana cards that give you like, that are a 6-for-1 when they hit the battlefield.
It's dying for the sins of fire design.
Exactly. And then Oops All Spells.
Yeah.
is like a real deck now. Like a real deck to the point where it's a problem.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't played Legacy and I don't even know how long, and I definitely haven't kept up with the format, but like, is Oops a problem because it's not fun to play against, or is Oops a problem because it's too good?
I think Oops is a problem because it is too good, is my understanding.
Okay.
And the combination of it is so the version that they have is only has 4 Agadeem's Awakenings for lands. But like it definitely has the ability to play more lands if you want. Um, but it's really fast. And it's more resilient than it used to be.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh, Jack-o'-lantern makes it better," and I don't know what like Jack-o'-lantern is doing for you. I've not gone that deep into why one would play Jack-o'-lantern, but last band announcement, Brian Cook was like, "Oops, is too good. They have to do something about it. It's too good." And then they didn't do anything. And then when he saw they didn't do anything here, he was just like, "Ah." I think it's one of those things that
it's also no fun to play against.
It's no fun to play against, and it is like very much a force check deck.
Yeah.
And like, so it does like that just tells me like Delver must not be like very good, or like because like
according to Goldfish, Oops is 5% of the meta.
It's only 5%. Maybe it's more on Magic Online. I brought it up because Boros Energy is 17% of the modern metagame.
Yeah.
But Oops is only 5%.
According to Goldfish, Demir is 18. Delver is 7.
Delver is 8. Huh. Because like the Oops stuff has been like kind of a constant complaint for a little while. And I thought it was because they actually got to like play actual lands, but how many MDFCs are there? Because it usually will tell you how many MDFCs there are in a deck. Oh, there's not a land, because usually it'll have lands and it'll tell you how many MDFCs are in the deck.
Oh.
Because it'll be like, 17 lands, 6 MDFCs. You're like, oh, okay. So this one has 6. Looks like 6 lands. Nope, 10.
According to MTG Top 8, Oops is 4% of the metagame.
Okay. So like this has like 16 lands in air quotes. So like it gets to do the degenerate combo thing, but doesn't have to just play a bunch of temporary mana sources.
Right.
So that is a difference. But it might also be like overrepresented on Magic Online because it is a deck that is fast.
Well, so I've got MTG Top 8 up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The latest however many events are listed on MTG Top 8 are MTGO League, MTGO Challenge, MTGO Challenge, MTGO Challenge, MTGO League, Charlotte League. So there's one event that's not online. There's 4 more MTGO challenges, another Legacy League. So that's 2 that aren't online. A Cardboard 1K, 3. A couple more Moto events, and then some other ones that I don't know what they are. But there's like 6 of these are not digital, and it's still counting Oops as 4% of the meta.
Huh, okay.
So it's definitely counting all the Moto events.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, other than maybe it doesn't feel like Magic.
Yeah.
And so people like this is kind of the issue with like Dredge in Modern.
Yeah.
Or
in
like,
Legacy.
oh, it's not Magic, or in Legacy. But yeah, so people feel like there should be changes in Legacy, but I think people also need to realize that, as you said, Legacy is the new Vintage. like Wizards is not gonna swoop in and save this format. Like you just need to like jam into Trinisphere for like 6 years before they're like, fine, I guess we'll get rid of Trinisphere. Right, so but none of my moccasin work are bad. Sorry. Should have maybe got to that sooner.
Yep.
But it is interesting that like, I mean, this is just how like Wizards has printed cards, that we have like shifted from being a like Legacy being a blue red format.
Mm-hmm.
I think for like the longest time, right? It was like Delver was blue red, pick a color.
Right.
Sneak and Show.
Yep.
Right. It was a very like blue red, like those two decks were like everywhere.
Yep.
And now we're like a very blue black format.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Dimir Reanimator is 19% of the metagame. Dimir Tempo is 6%.
Yeah.
It's like a quarter of your decks are like blue black. And that was never like that before. So it's interesting, like, you know, you just print Orcish Bowmasters and Nethergoyf and
off to the races.
yeah. And you don't like print like, thankfully I guess they haven't printed like comparable red cards, because that would like
Grixis Delver's back on the table.
yeah. Oh, there's a is this okay? Is this lands? Okay, it is lands. Okay, I was like, ooh, lands, but it is like OG lands. Okay.
Yeah, play your Tabernacle somewhere.
I was like, oh, like are we Tifa-ing people? But no, we're not Tifa-ing people. Womp womp.
So probably not much use talking about Vintage, because there's one person on our Discord that plays Vintage.
Probably not. And like, I don't know a whole lot other than they're like, ooh, Tezzeret's coming.
Yeah.
Get hype. I did think it was interesting that like, if I remember reading right, they were like, we thought about banning Loris for power level again.
Oh, really?
Did I read that right? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
During our last we had serious discussion around the possible banning of Loris of the Dream Den for power level reasons. Like the fact that Loris would get banned twice from Vintage.
Right.
Just an abomination of a card.
Was banned, got nerfed, and then like errated to be worse, and then banned again.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you should listen to Sam Black when he was like, I can't do anything but play Loris decks.
Yeah.
I don't like the white bordered cards. They're weird. Unless Cameron does it with an eraser. But other than that.
You don't like them if they're on purpose?
Yeah, if they're on purpose, it just feels weird. Okay. So no Vintage. Now, for what everyone is here for, what the people want, is they just looked at the top like 3 or 4 decks in Standard.
Machine gun.
We're like, yeah, no more.
Yeah.
No more.
They literally took something from every single deck.
Every deck.
Yeah.
So you've got... So we should say that this is the ban and restricted announcement going into a rotation, and they were saying that their main goal with this is to make sure that the post-rotation Standard is like the most fun and interesting Standard it can be.
Did we know that was the plan here? I feel like I didn't know that.
I feel like I didn't know that either.
Okay.
Our goal with this window is to set up the next rotation cycle to be as fun as possible. This seems like... I didn't realize this was what this was for.
Yeah, I
thought this was like, oh, hey, we had like missed some crap.
Yeah.
We should probably fix it.
Well, that's what I assumed it was for, but instead it was, oh, shoot, what was the saying? Competitive diversity?
Diversity?
Yeah.
All right. So they banned 7 cards out of Standard.
Yep.
So the first one is Corey Steelcutter.
Well,
again, I will say I missed this one in the in whatever. Okay.
Yep. Obviously that's Is It Prowess decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also banned Abuelo's Awakening.
I think this one was a mistake.
Yeah.
I have feelings. So, this is from the Omniscience deck, and you're gonna notice that basically we're gonna walk down the like top 3 played decks at the Pro Tour, maybe the top 4.
Yeah. I
Um,
was just gonna correct you and
so
say it's like the top 4.
So Boyla's Awakening is that X3 and a white, return an enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield as a 1/1 with X +1/+1 counters on it.
Yeah.
So this allows you to put Omniscience into play.
Mm-hmm.
On turn 4. Now, when they put Omniscience into Foundations, I remember Jim Davis said this, and we may have brought this up as well. Has Omniscience ever done anything fair?
Well, no. However, I believe they're trying to keep some amount of combo in standard.
Agreed. But like it feels like you're gonna have the omniscience problem again.
Yeah.
At some point. Like we have a 5-mana reanimation spell, I think, for enchantments. So we're going to, right, if standard slows down, maybe getting omniscience on turn 5 becomes problematic. So I just feel like this is kind of
that
like,
kind of goes back to what we were talking about whenever it was about like chasing a format though. Like if standard slows down to the point where people are getting omniscience out of the game, then like play faster deck.
but I guess my thing is if like if the format slows down by a turn, right? Well, then getting your omniscience on the battlefield on turn 5 is equivalent to getting the omniscience on the battlefield on turn 4.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like if Is It Prowess and Mono Red were killing you on turn 3 or turn 4, and now we have a new aggro deck that's killing you on turn 4 or turn 5, right? You getting your omniscience on the battlefield like consistently on turn 5 is probably good enough.
That's true.
I think that you run into the like you can't print anything that says like return target enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield unless like you put some rider on it. Return target enchantment that costs 1 less mana than omniscience from the graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah, non-blue enchantment.
Right? Like yeah, non-blue, CMC 8 or less. Right? Like I feel like it puts you in this situation where you're like, I don't want to I don't want to print this card because omniscience exists. It's the like you can't print good creatures because of birthing pod.
Right.
It'd be like, we're not gonna ban birthing pod, we're gonna ban siege rhino.
Must be the creature's fault.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it must be the like reanimation spell's fault. Right, it'd be like, man, Dimir Reanimator's too good, so we're gonna, we're gonna get rid of Atraxa as opposed to one of the other 8 things you can reanimate for like huge values. Like, well, okay. So yeah, this one I think is kind of a miss, just because like you could be in the same problem.
The only counter argument that I'll make isn't really not really an argument, but like Wizards purposely put omniscience in foundations so that it would be in standard for 5 years.
Yeah, well, I agree. I don't know if you can, ban Omniscience.
Yeah.
Because it's in Foundation, it's supposed to be there for 8 years, and right, it's already awkward enough if someone opens a card in, you know, opens a Corey Steelcutter and then is told they can't play it, right? If they open a card in a set that's not supposed to rotate,
right,
or not supposed to go away, and we're like, yeah, you can't play that, super bad. But like, if they don't want the Omniscience deck to be around, I think this doesn't wholly cure the problem.
right.
And so I just worry that we're going to be in the same situation.
Maybe.
And like, also, like, Omniscience very much does kind of its own thing. But like, we have like Tune Up, the 4-mana artifact reanimation, like, you know, not that Portal to Phyrexia wins you the game in the same way.
Right.
But
kind of does, like, though.
Now it kind of does. So I don't know, it just kind of it feels like one of those where we're banning the enabler and not the actual problem.
Right.
And if we print anything that like is similar to Abuelo's Awakening, maybe we have the same problem.
Yeah.
All right.
So those were 2 decks.
2 decks. Like, I think Izzet is pretty much gone.
Probably.
Like, it wasn't really a deck.
I mean, I guess it depends how much work the VV.
Yeah, I guess like it's a different deck.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of like almost like a VV combo deck at that point.
And
like, as of right now, the Omniscience deck is basically not a deck. So the top 2 decks from the Pro Tour,
right?
Bye-bye.
The next deck that's going to lose fuel here is Mono Red. So Mono Red is losing Monstrous Rage and Heartfire Hero. That's rough.
It is.
Monstrous Rage, I think, was probably too good anyway. So, like, that's fine.
It's weird, though, right? Like, I feel like we've had a similar card in the past, like, because it's effectively, like, +3, +1, and trample.
Yeah, but it leaves the trample and the +1/+1 behind.
Yeah. But, like, it's odd that that a spell that is, like, worse, but not, like, that much worse.
Yeah.
Was, like, fine. And this was too much. Like, the, like, you know, the +1/+1 counter effectively that it left behind, you wouldn't think, like, oh man, that's gonna make that much of a difference. Like, in the design phase, right?
Yeah.
Like,
is
it Titan strength or whatever?
Yeah, but the trample is like, the trample's important too.
Yeah, so basically you couldn't block in standard.
Yeah.
Because you're like, block your Swift Spear, and they're like, haha, take like
all of it.
12. And it's just like, oh, neat. I guess I'm dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
So, like, having played the deck, I understand why Monstrous Rage kind of needed to be the target there.
Mm-hmm.
Heartfire Hero's kind of weird because, again, we've had like very similar creatures in the past that weren't problems.
I almost feel like this was we can ban a rare or ban an uncommon.
Yeah.
Let's ban an uncommon, because like Heartfire Hero, like you said, is a card that has been fine, but the fact that you get to pay 2 mana and turn it into a 2/2 double striker.
Yeah.
Right. So I think the real problem is you had to break up the Heartfire Hero Manifold Mouse interaction.
Yeah.
And, well, one of them is an uncommon, one of them is a rare. So,
well, maybe, like, I mean, in a vacuum though, like if you're just looking at a card, not contextually, Heartfire Hero is a better card than Manifold Mouse is.
Yeah, like, didn't we have like almost the exact, like, a very similar card that like got counters and like maybe it didn't get counters.
Yeah, it didn't get counters. Yeah, it just dealt damage when it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the fear was if they left Heartfire Hero, there'd be like some sort of fling deck.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh hey, we don't want to leave the possibility of, people getting self-destructed.
Yeah.
On turn like 4 or whatever.
It's also something that's kind of hard to play around. Like it's really easy for red to get to a point where you just like can't kill the thing or you die. Like you die if you let it live, and you die if it dies.
Yeah, that like you're at 4 and you can't block it because you die.
Right.
You can't kill it because you die. Yeah, where like the game where you effectively have like 16 life.
Yeah.
Or 15 life at the start of the game as opposed to 20. I can see that as an argument. But yeah, so this is the first, second, and now third deck. And I guess with going back to Monstrous Rage, like it getting trample.
Yeah.
Now every time you target it, you get double strike and trample on your like mouse.
Yeah.
So yeah, not great design.
All right. So the fourth deck that caught a ban is Overlords.
Yeah.
No longer has Up the Beanstalk.
So they mentioned that there are like, so similar to my argument with Up the Beanstalk, or not Up the Beanstalk, Up Brother's Awakening. Mm-hmm. They're like, yeah, we basically can't. We want to print all these like cost reducing effects, but if we do, we are in a bad way. So so the deck building puzzle about the Beanstalk has also been solved so many times at this point that we expect it to be a more monotonous than engaging, as more cost reduction cards get released in future sets.
Plural.
So I have a hint. You could have printed Up the Beanstalk and then not promptly made everything cost 5 mana.
Right.
Or cost 3 less if condition was met.
Right.
You could have made them all cost 2 mana and then like made them cost more if condition was not met.
Right. Literally just templated it in reverse.
Which they have done previously, right? There's so many cards that are like 1 black as an additional cost, like sack a creature or pay 4.
Yeah.
Right? To get to the 5 mana removal spell. Right? Where they could have been like it's, 4 and a black, sacrifice a creature and it's pay 4 less.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I can get behind that. Or this spell costs like 4 less to cast if you sack a creature as an additional cost.
Yeah.
However you have to like word it. But instead they've done the opposite for like so many cards. Like we had hardly any of them, and it just feels like every set there's like 1 or 2 that are like, oh, this gets cheaper. This works with Up the Beanstalk. So this one I really feels like on them.
Yep.
Like, because like I don't even know if like I did not do a lot of Wilds of Eldraine, but like the ones I did, I don't feel like the like spells that cost 5 or more matters.
No, I don't remember that being particularly important.
Yeah, it just seems like it was like a throwaway card, like a card to prop up a bad draft archetype.
Yeah, that ended up being too good for Modern.
Too good for Modern and too good for
Standard.
Standard. But Pioneer, there's his home.
Sure, yeah.
We did it. If you can play it and then not die to mice on turn on turn 3, I will tap 2 mana. I will play my Up the Beanstalk. I will draw my card. I will untap and kill you with my mouse. Thank you for spending 2 mana to do nothing.
Yep. You get to draw a card.
Scoop them up. I got to draw a card. I got to see what my next card was. Yeah. It's great. You were gonna kill me anyway, even if I didn't spend that 2 mana. If I'd have played like a tap lane, he would have been like sucker and killed me too. So like whatever. Yeah. So basically, it's we spoke about Loris. It's almost like, the deck building constraint on Loris was not an actual constraint. Same with like Gigantha.
Yeah.
The deck building constraint on Up the Beanstalk was not really a constraint.
Right.
Right. Now they did it to themselves that it wasn't really a constraint. But because like if it would have been like if Up the Beanstalk would have worked with just like Leyline Binding and maybe like one other card, okay, fine. But it's like, hey, here's 8 removal spells that it works with. Here's like a pile of finishers and ramp spells that this works with. Yeah, like here's like an entire deck that like you never play anything for its actual converted mana cost. It's like, oh, cool. So, and like I don't know how well did like Domain didn't even do that much at the Pro Tour. This almost feels like one of those preemptive bans.
Well, I mean, you kind of said it was, right? You read the little blurb that said it's because they're still printing more, so.
Yeah, well, I meant more in the realm of if isn't killing you on turn 3 or 4, and if mono red isn't killing you on turn 3 or 4.
Can you beans before your opponent omnisciences?
Yes, like if we slowed the format down, does it just become like kind of battle cruiser, go over the top magic with Up the Beanstalk?
Yeah.
And maybe that was the concern.
Could be.
I think I saw someone bring up Reflector Mage.
Yeah.
When they like banned all those cards, and then they're like, and Reflector Mage, because we think if we don't ban Reflector Mage, it's just gonna be the best deck, and it's gonna be super annoying. And like maybe it's like, hey, this is gonna be the best deck, it's gonna be super annoying. And also, by the way, we have printed like a pile of cards that are insane with this, so we don't want that to be around.
The only other thing I have to say about beans is that even though it's probably too good, and I think it probably should go, it also enabled some of like the coolest decks.
Oh, like the green black beans deck?
Yeah. Like that deck's just sweet.
Yeah, like I feel like those are the kind of things that you like want to have happen.
Yeah.
Oops. This like neat kind of fringy, kind of good enough to top 8 a Pro Tour kind of like thing.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that's like, hey, this enables like a cool deck, but then also like becomes oppressive if someone's just like, I'm going to do this other thing that's really good. So it's sad because those kind of decks are like neat. And there's also like the crab deck.
Yeah.
Like, cool. But, just like Leyline Binding into Overlord, draw like a bunch of cards is like less fun.
So what's the last deck that we got?
Orzhov or Blue Black or Esper or Self Bounce.
Yeah.
So they took out Hopeless Nightmare, and This Town Ain't Big Enough. We had mentioned in our set review for Final Fantasy that we had like Ambrosia, and we went from having like no, like when this creature comes into play, you may return a permanent you control, cards from like there was White Mane Lion, and then there were like a couple like random unplayable like M15 fairies like around that era.
Wasn't there something like in Innistrad also?
Maybe. I just remember like the fairy, the like when it enters like return, you have to like return an actual creature.
Yeah.
And it's not like a May. It's like no, pick it up. But we went from having like none of those cards to like a ton of them.
Yeah.
Right? We had the Pixie, we had the Flash 2/1 flyer, Kieran, Sun Petal Kieran, and then we had Ambrosia. So like we went from none to like all of them.
I think we called them all
like,
out too.
Yeah, and like, so a card like Hopeless Nightmare, right? That's cheap, that you can like double spell with.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of the things you pick up, isn't dead.
Right.
Right? Like against control, still get to get a card.
Yep.
Against aggro, still get a card.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I watched coverage, and I've done it myself where I'm like, oh, you're at 6. I think you can pick this Hopeless Nightmare up twice and kill you with it. Or like its friend that I'm going to draw or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it was also kind of a clock in a weird way. It did a lot of stuff that you wanted in that deck. And then this town ain't big enough, like, is a card that is annoying. And like it enables all the shenanigans and also like sets your opponent back.
Yeah.
You're like, how many cards are in hand? 0. Okay, bounce your thing, pick up my Hopeless Nightmare.
Discard
it. Discard your thing. Or like pick up your big creature I can't deal with, pick up, Grim Bobble.
Yep.
Or Nowhere to Run.
Yep.
So it's really weird that like we've built this standard that has this as like a thing, because we just keep printing these like cards.
Well, that kind of goes back to what we kind of alluded to when we started talking about these bans. Like, we have hit all of the most played decks in Standard. And that kind of like I was saying, that goes back to when we were talking about, like, I didn't realize this was the intent of this ban. Like, the intent of this ban was to make a new Standard.
Yes. Which is weird, because it's effectively like a forced rotation.
Yeah.
Right. It is a like rotation within a rotation. Right.
Yep.
Like where you're like, we want to make sure that at rotation these decks are not good anymore, so that you have to play other things, which almost kind of defeats the purpose of having a 3-year standard. Of, we want people to use their cards for a long time. Well, it's like, well.
Right.
If I'm the person that 6 months ago was like, I'm gonna like get blue-white self bounce, or blue-black self bounce or whatever, and you're just like, well, no, you can't use those cards anymore. Like, it's the same problem as my cards are only around for 2 years. And we had talked about this, I think, in the pre-show last week, where it's like, oh wow, like, is it mono red where like the top, 2 of the top 3 decks, and they're both kind of built the same way.
Yeah.
Take like, every like common that was like 1 mana or 2 mana from the last 3 years of like red aggressive based archetypes in limited. Play them. Take all the like the little like smoothing cantrip nonsense, and again like a few of the rare payoffs for like for Spellslinger in draft have deck. So they had mentioned that maybe going forward they need to be a little bit more careful with like
1 mana spells.
The power they put in 1 mana spells. There is a long and storied history of limited, and this comes up on limited resources all the time, where the 1 mana 1/1 was bad.
Yeah.
And almost all the 1 mana spells you could like ignore. Like, I don't need to like consider this card.
Yeah.
Because it's 1 mana, right? And they have like gone away from that. Those cards have gotten better. But the problem is when you have 10, 11, 12 standard sets, heck, at this rate, 18 standard sets of 1 mana cards that are good, right? You get a legacy or like modern feel of you're just taking the most efficient thing and smushing it into a deck.
Yeah.
And so going forward, they're like, we kind of want things to be like 3 or 4 mana in standard. And it's like,
imagine that.
Okay, imagine that. Imagine like wanting a game to last more than 4 turns.
You mean standard
But
should
like
have
they
mid range?
Should. Uh, and it did for a while, right? We had all the like the Shieldra decks and the green black decks and stuff, and then like standard just kind of got too big, right? Around like 9 or 10 standard sets, it just like got to that like critical mass of, oh, there's just enough 1 mana garbage that I can just play my like, very hyper efficient deck. And I think that's going to be a problem they're going to continue to have, right? Especially as they put more sets out that are standard legal.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to have more and more and more like of these good 1 and 2 mana spells that like you need to have to make the limited environments work.
Right.
But 12 sets of like, hey, I get to pick the best 1 mana red uncommon out of the last 12 sets. There's probably one good one in there.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2. And hey, like I have my 1-drop situation figured out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems like they did not know how to design for enormous standard.
Yep. Hopefully they learned some lessons though. The
Yeah, and
I mean the whole format's going to look different because, like I said, everything got hit. And you're right. I don't know that as it continues to be a deck. I don't know right now that red continues to be a deck. Obviously, Overlords isn't going to be a deck anymore.
mm-hmm.
So does that just leave Omniscience and Pixie that can kind of rebound a little bit?
Like I think Pixie will be will be a less good deck.
Yeah.
Just because it's like losing its like 1 mana like interactive spell. It could be around like I was looking. So Dimir midrange is the first deck that did not get hit by anything.
Yeah.
In the like list of decks on Goldfish. So like it could be a thing. And like it looks like it's a fine looking deck. Like in terms of like what you want a standard deck to be. Like, is there enough burn to make mono red more of a burn deck as opposed to like a creature based?
I don't think there's enough
deck?
good burn.
Yeah, like probably not. And then there's like the VV. Oh gosh, what is it called? Agatha Soul Cauldron deck.
I don't know that one.
Like Polyvita Dominarosa like played it at the Pro Tour.
Yeah.
And you just like try to exile a VB and then throw counters around. Not all of your creatures have the VV ability.
Yeah.
And you just get to make tons of mana. So like that could be kind of the VB deck. It's kind of a different thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know like if the bounce decks work without kind of the reach and stuff from Hopeless Nightmare.
Yeah.
Though looking at this list that I just brought up, I didn't have Dark Confidant when I was playing that black white deck in Pioneer.
Yeah.
Like that could be a thing. Get in there, Barbarino. So yeah, like I guess you have Tiny Bones joins up.
Mm-hmm.
Any number of target players discards a card. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
Pretty similar.
But it doesn't have the like burn tied to it.
Right.
Which
gives you reach.
I think is a big part of like Hopeless Nightmare. Like your opponent stabilizes at 4, and like you're like, well, if I pick up a bounce thing,
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter that you stabilize because I get to do my thing.
Yep.
I'll like eventually kill you. Um, so like maybe it has like with Tiny Bones joins up kind of a card that does something similar enough.
Mm-hmm.
If you care about the like hand disruption angle, yeah. Like, are we getting down to like blue white control, Golgari mid range?
Oh, that lost beans, right? Wasn't that a beans deck?
Not this Golgari. No, this is like the like Glissa
Oh,
Sunslayer,
the old mid range.
uh, the old mid range deck. So like maybe that's a thing that can like happen.
Yeah.
Where like you're back to a deck from like 6 months ago or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we have no idea what the new set's going to do. Like with the way they design cards, they might just have like, hey, here's this like Eldrazi sliver deck, like go nuts. It's like, oh thanks. It's also really funny so you're like Prowess, Mono Red, Azorius, and then you're like, okay, blue black mid range, black deck. I guess 4-color Zero doesn't exist anymore. But South Bounce, black deck. Golgari mid range, black deck.
Yeah.
Like we're back to the like
mono black standard.
Oh hey. Like yeah, black is like the best. There was like I saw like just a list, and people had brought this up before, that like the Gruul like Delirium deck was actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It just wasn't as good as like I think not this previous Pro Tour, but the one before it actually had a pretty good showing. But it just didn't get anything because it's not. It's kind of a like a Duskmourn kind of deck.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but that could be something that comes up. But then there's just so many like. And then like we have the Insidious Roots decks. But it's just we're a very black standard now. Or we could be.
Time will tell.
Lord, time will tell. But there you go. So they basically use this as a way to like reset the format. This almost feels like remember the old Modern bands?
Yeah.
Where they were just like, we're going into a Pro Tour, so we're gonna ban Splinter Twin. Okay. We're gonna ban like what's the most played deck? Cart Clan Ironworks. It kind of sucks to play against, and we don't want to see it anymore.
See you later.
We're gonna ban it.
Yep.
Right? Like, but we've never seen them. Like, realistically, they took out 4 of the top 6 decks on Goldfish. Well, 5 of the top 6 because they took out Beans from Zur.
Mm-hmm.
The only deck that seems like it was unscathed was this like Demir mid-range deck, which I haven't played much standard, but I've not like seen anything about it.
Also, like mid-range decks kind of need to be tuned to a meta, and if it's setting its own meta, it's probably not going to be a very good mid-range deck.
Fair. So it's interesting, but we've never seen them just go like, we don't want this format to look like this anymore.
Well, now we know what that looks like.
We've now seen it. I mean, it's got to be difficult when you're trying to bring new players into the game by doing like 3 straight Universes Beyond sets that go into standard.
Yeah.
And like none of those cards, like, or very few of those cards see play.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, I want to play my Spider-Man deck at FNM, and like you just get moused on, and like you like don't get to play your deck.
Right.
So, I don't know. This is interesting. Oh, I think they did say that they would have banned Corey Steelcutter even without this.
Yeah.
Like Corey Stillcutter was like to emergency ban level.
Yeah. Which I think we said while we were watching coverage last weekend.
Yeah. But like 40% is apparently the magic line.
Okay.
I guess, right?
Now we know
like
where the line is, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, what is Pro Tour Oko? Haha. Perfect. You just type in Pro Tour Oko and it's like so Sultai, so in that one, Sultai food was 37% of the metagame.
Mm-hmm.
And then Simic food was 19%. So that was 56%. And that set Oko to be no Joko. To go
to the Shadow Realm.
To the Shadow Realm with you. Oh, that's right. And the black was for Noxious Grass and Verasco. Oh, and this one had 2 casualties of war.
Oh, okay.
Get him. But yeah, Noxious Grass. Destroy target Oko. Because I can't otherwise kill it. Neat. Golgari Adventures is the most played non-Oko deck. But yeah, like, Izzet was at Oko levels.
Yeah.
So that is a... Oh, I'm sorry. There's also Bant food. So I'll take that back. Oko was... Does math slowly and had 63% of the metagame. So I guess we weren't quite to like Oko levels, but we were knocking on the door.
Very close.
So, all right. We got anything else to add here?
I do not.
All right. So with that, I think we got a show.
You got a show.
So we're gonna try to finish up Final Fantasy next week. So if you have any like suggestions, let us know. Facebook, Discord, X, Blue Sky, email. That's the last one. All those links are in the description. Say hey, let us know what you want us to talk about. Wind us up and let us go.
Absolutely. If you're looking to support the show, there's 2 ways you can do it. First is with our TCG player affiliate link, CasualTryHard.com/TCG. Surf on over there, do your shopping, support the show at the same time. The second is with our Patreon, Patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Patrons get access to my show notes. They get about another hour of content out of us every week in the form of our unshow, and they get to support us, which feels really good, I promise. If any of that sounds good to you, Patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Chip a couple bucks in. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internet.